gain. And when a believer transitions from this earth, heaven rejoices. Heaven and earth, which one is greater? Heaven is greater. So if heaven is rejoicing, then the earth have to follow suit. Instead of being sad and depressed, let's remember that people are in a better place. All right? So let's keep that in mind. As we prepare to bring our offerings this morning, I want you to come also with a heart of gratitude, at least that God has given you another day to worship him and also to receive from his blessings. So if you have your offering ready, will you please stand? Please stand. Hold your offering up. Say with me, to God be the glory.
God be the glory.
Great things he has done. The Lord is my shepherd.
The Lord is my shepherd.
I shall not want.
I shall not want.
He provides for my needs.
For my needs.
He preserves my life.
Preserve my life.
And he is my strength.
And he is my strength.
This morning,
I
I give
give
as expression of faith
as expression of faith
in Jesus.
in Jesus
And my trust in God.
and my trust in God.
I confirm
I confirm
that my God
that my God
continuously
continuously
supplies my needs
supplies my needs
according to his riches in glory
according to his riches and glory
by Christ
by
Jesus.
Christ Jesus.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
Let's follow our ushers and bring our offering.
We are a chosen generation. We're called forth to show his excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. We are a chosen generation. We're called forth to show his excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what he says I am, where he says I am. I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what he says I am, where he says I am. I know who I am. We're walking. We are a chosen generation. We're called forth to show his excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what he says I am, where he says I am. I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what he says I am, where he says I am. I know who I am. We're walking in power, working miracles. I live a life of favor. I know who I am. We're walking in power, working miracles. I live a life of favor. I know who I am. Take a look at me, I'm a wonder. It doesn't matter what you see now. Can you see his glory? I know who I am. Take a look at me, I'm a wonder. It doesn't matter what you see now. Can you see his glory? I know who we're walking in power, working miracles. I live a life of favor. I know who I am. We're walking in power, working miracles. I live a life of favor. I know who I am. We're walking in power, working miracles. I live a life of favor. I know who I am. We're walking in power, working miracles. I live a life of favor. time. We're walking in power, working miracles. I live a life of favor. I know who I am. We're walking in power, working miracles. I live a life of favor. I know who I am.
Yes. I know who I am. Amen. I know who I am. You may be seated if you know who you are. If you don't know who you are, you can keep standing. And I'll possibly help you to find out who you are. Just got back yesterday from Jamaica. Was there for 3 days to graduate our students. I just want to just give you a little clip. This is us at the airport, right about to leave the airport. So just take a minute. This is just the acting president of the university welcoming me at the airport, and also one of the vice presidents. This is on Wednesday. This is a German ambassador to the Bahamas, to Jamaica, who is a second to us, who is also in charge of one of our departments. The vice president. Actually, the acting president of the university was our meeting with the leadership of the university. And this is the graduation exercise. This is the CEO and president of the largest, that was the Caribbean cruise ship. He received an honorary doctorate degree from us yesterday. And also another recognized tycoon in maritime industry. This is us giving a lecture, actually welcoming those who came for our graduation. It's one of the best ones yet. So you've been there with me now. Yeah. Now, I would like to, those of you who like to get into engineering of any type, I would encourage you to go to Caribbean Maritime University, where I happen to be the chancellor, and we'll be glad to have you there. It's a wonderful university. It's been around for about 40 years. 3 years ago, 3 years ago, transitioned from an institute to a university. I'm the first chancellor of that university. And the first is an international university, one of the best in the world, and the best in the whole Caribbean region, with maritime and other programs. Good school. Good school. Good school. So come to CMU. Apply. All right. So these are some of the things we do. This morning is a great morning, and I welcome every one of you who've joined us, those here and those who are watching from different parts of the world. I really pray that the Lord would speak to you in a very, very special way. Pray that the Lord will minister to you in a very unique way. And amongst us, there are great testimonies of God's good work. And I'll be sharing with you the life and example of God's great work. But let me first prepare you. Last week, I addressed prayer. Today, I'm going to address faith. Faith works. What did I say? And who says it doesn't? I'm going to address the subject of faith. Pay very close attention. But also, you'll get the chance to hear a testimony of one man by name Sam Ume, who is a member of Life International. I want you to see what happens when one is persistent, resilient, and never give up in faith. 10 years of experience and the result of faith. So let's prepare ourselves, and let me pray for you that you'll be able to retain what you're about to receive this moment. I pray that the Lord God will give you the capacity to benefit from this message, and that the message would have a lasting impact in your life and will cause you to be stronger, better, and also victorious in your walk with God. Faith works. Faith works. Repeat after me. Say it loud. One more time. Now, let me also explain to you, we've heard so much about faith, but not everyone understands faith. What is faith? Let me try to define what faith is. Faith, first and foremost, is commitment to a person, a duty, or something. What did I say faith is? Speak loud. To a person, duty. One more time. Faith is what? Commitment to a person, duty, or something. Let's say it for the last time. Commitment to a person, duty, or good. So keep these things in your mind. Faith is showing commitment to a person, a duty, or a person. Number two, faith is believe in something. Is believe in something for which there is no proof. Let me explain it again to you. Faith is a firm belief in something for which there is no proof. Believing something that does not exist, believing something that is not obvious, believing in something that we will consider unreal. That's what faith is. First, commitment to a person, duty, or a thing. Second, a firm belief in something for which there is no proof. Number three, faith also is loyalty to God's intention and relying on His word regardless of the outcome. Let me say it again. Faith is loyalty to God's intentions, relying on His word regardless of outcome. In other words, it doesn't make any difference and it doesn't matter to me. I don't need any proof to say that I'm resolved with God's intentions. I'll rely on every word that comes out of His mouth, regardless of the outcome, be it positive or negative. I am just there. Number four, faith is a willing to act without question or fear. Think for a minute. Willingness to act without question or fear. You ask me to jump, I'm going to jump without asking you any question like why. Your intentions, I will not question. I am confident to act upon your word. A willingness to act without question or fear. Now, in our society, you are told never to do that. Never respond to anyone whose intentions you don't know. Don't be loyal to people's intentions and rely on the words they speak. You have to ask for proof before you trust a person. no commitment to any person. Don't commit yourself to anything, or don't commit yourself to any duty. Don't be duty bound. This is how we think. Now, another point of loyalty, the fifth point I want to raise is that faith is being convinced and assured of something, yet without evidence. Yet without what? Evidence. Now, this is the kind of God we seem to be following. You are convinced and assured of something, yet there's no evidence to support what you're convinced of or what you are assured of. This is faith. Can I say to you then that we've got a long way to go? And can I say to you, by this definition, many of us then will ask ourselves the question, can I believe in God? When we talk about faith, we're not just talking about going to church. When we talk about faith, we're not just talking about what you know to be real. When we talk about faith, we're not talking about something that you've touched, you felt, and you believe in. When we talk about faith, we're talking about believe in something which there is no proof. Being loyal to God's intention, relying on His word, regardless of any outcome. You are willing to act without any question and without exhibiting any fear. You are convinced, you are assured of something, even though you are not too clear, yet you don't need any evidence to prove anything. This is the kind of God we're supposed to serve. Everybody needs faith. Every one of us needs faith. You have to actually show complete dependency on God. If you are going to go with God, you have to show complete dependency on God. Many problems that we have are meant to test our resolve to see if we really mean that we have faith in this unchanging God. Many people get discouraged and they abandon the process living for God. Many people get so crushed by temporal challenges that they no longer actually hold on to their basic belief that in spite of it all, God is still on the throne. There are so many people whose relationship with God is bent on what they get, is bent on the temporal profits, is bent on what looks good and what feels good. If they go through any little challenge, they quit trusting who God is, or they quit trusting Jehovah God. When we talk about faith, it's more than just what we see. And the truth is, there are so many people whose faith are failing. That means they've once tasted, they've once known, they've experienced, but they choose now to take a different direction. Why? Because their expectations were not met. The beauty of it all is that man is limited, but God is unlimited. Man is finite. God is what? Infinite. He is absolute. He is real. He is bigger than your problem. He is bigger than your challenge. And He is greater than anything we've ever experienced. The fact is, we have not seen God at any time. But the concept and the belief in Him, yet we can't see Him, makes us people of faith. So to really understand, everybody needs faith. All of us, regardless of who you are, regardless of your background, regardless of your culture, regardless of your roots, you and I need faith. And when a person says, I have faith in God, what they are saying is, I am demonstrating total belief, total trust, and I'm completely loyal to a God I have not seen, but my heart tells me He exists. You have to show, again, complete dependency on God. Number two, you have to demonstrate total belief, trust, and loyalty in God. I have been working with God not too long, only 53 years. I started serving God, ministering 53 years ago, August 25th, 1966. But I can tell you that even though this walk, this journey, this experience, trusting God has not been too comfortable in certain areas, but I don't equate my comfort to justify who God is. God is beyond my comfort. He existed before my comfort or uncomfortness appeared. And it's a decision that one have to make. So I made this decision very early. If I'm going to trust God, if I'm going to believe in His word, if I'm going to be loyal to Him, then I have to demonstrate it in action. The Bible tells us in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6. I want you to come along with me. Hebrews 11:6. Listen to what it says. I love this verse very much. It's very inspiring to me. He says this, but. Everyone say but. Say loud. Again. But what? Without faith. Got it? He said, but without what? Let me put it this way. I am going through challenges. Let me bring it to the human terms. My life has been a rut. Everything around me is failing. Our government is failing. I mean, society is just gone bonkers. We don't know where to turn. And all of this, so how do we solve this problem? All of that. But, in spite of all that is going on, but, without faith, it is what? Impossible to please God. Now, what is the greatest intent of humankind? To be able to please the one who takes care of us, or the one whose provision makes us live, or the one who is absolutely in charge of the breath that we have. If you only find out that this person is responsible for your comfort, your loyalty or commitment to be at least loyal becomes paramount. That means if you really want to please God, you cannot do it if you don't have faith. Without faith, it is absolutely impossible to please God. That's simple and simplified. It means that you don't have to be religious. You don't have to smoke or not smoke. If you want to please God, whether you go to church or not church, it says it's faith. And by the way, there are so many people who were born into spiritual, in Christian homes, or born into Christian environment. But they don't have faith in God. They doubt God all the way. They don't rely on Him and they are not loyal to Him. If they have to choose between commitments, they will take commitments because it's more obvious than they will trust God for His provision. That is why many people can't serve God and will not serve God. They love Him, they like Him, but they don't have total belief in His words. They cannot trust Him and they cannot rely on His promises. Therefore, loyalty to God is questionable. Let me test you. Are you willing to quit your job to serve God and believe in provision? The answer, I'll give it to you. I'll help you. No. Let me test you. Are you willing to leave all and totally yield to God for whatever He will tell you? The answer is so and so. But honestly, no. Let me ask you again. Are you willing to forsake your husband, your wife, your son, your children, your job, and all the things you've achieved for God? The answer is no. Are you are you truthful when it says, give everything you have to the Lord? The answer is no. Because something is at work that is preventing you in operating in faith. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. Why? Because anyone who comes to him must believe that he is. Even though you can't feel him, you can't touch him, you can't see him, you just believe that he is. And when you believe that he is, the only assurance you are giving is that he will reward you, because your belief in him does not end there. You diligently seek to know him, seek to understand him, seek to appreciate who he is, even though you can't understand him fully and completely. That's faith in action. I tell the story of a man who went mountain climbing. He loved mountain climbing, and he went mountain climbing. And whilst he was climbing, he got so high, and unfortunately, he tripped, and he held the edge of the mountain. He's a man who didn't believe in God. He has no relationship with God. But when crisis hit and his life was in danger, this man cried out. He used the word everyone will use, OMG, oh my God. And he added his words to it, save me and help me. He was barely holding on to the edge of the rock. When he looked down, the thoughts that ran through his mind was that this is the end of your life, because he saw many feet below his death. Yet his strength, his energy, anxiety, and fear overwhelmed him. So he started crying out, and he says, oh God, help me. Oh God, help me. He had an epiphany for that first time. Oh, he saw himself being saved. At the same time, he saw himself possibly dying. And the promise he made, which most of us do, God, if you save me out of this one, I will serve you the rest of my life. Most of you say that when you are in crisis. God, if you bring me out of this mess once, you save me from this sickness, and you save me from this bankruptcy, and you save me from this problem, and you save me from this, and Lord, you do all this for me, I can promise you I will serve you the rest of my life. He said that, but he didn't mean it. Why? Because when your back is against the wall, often looking for temporary relief becomes paramount. But when you get your relief, you forget who God is. Let me tell you, faith works. He started crying out, God save me, God save me. I promise you, I will serve you the rest of my life. And as he was screaming, he was fainting, weak, and he heard this voice, my son, I am the Lord your God. Remember, I said, God, you can't see. God, you can't see. You have to love a God you can't see. You have to trust a God you can't see. You have to follow a word from a God you can't see, but yet out of the belief you come to know. My son, I am the Lord your God. Do you trust and do you believe I can save you? And the answer is yes, Lord. Do you believe I can rescue you this moment? And his answer was, yes, Lord. Oh, God. Oh, God. I'm so glad I've heard from you. I promise you I will serve you and do everything you ask me to do. And the voice said, God speaking, if you believe I can save you, let go and let God. When he heard the word, let go and let God, he looked around him again. And the next voice that came from him was, is anyone else out there? He no longer believed, because by sight, by fear, by feeling, he concluded, I am no dummy, and I'm not going to let go of this rock. I'm going to hold on to it with the life of me. But yet the God he doesn't see, the one he needs to be looking for, and for his crisis he was crying on to, just said, let go and let God. And he said, is anyone else out there? This is the position of many people, including millions of those who have expressed faith in God. You only trust God based on convenience. When you tell stories and people share their testimonies, some people sit and laugh. They say, man, that is very funny. Because let me tell you something. If you believe in God, you will not only believe that the whale swallowed Jonah. You can even believe when it says Jonah was able to swallow the whale. If you have faith, the things you believe are the things that doesn't make sense. Faith doesn't make sense. However, faith works. Faith doesn't make sense. However, faith what? Works. I'm a product of faith. I believe that without faith, I cannot please God. And so should you. So if you want to please God, have faith. If you want to please God, have faith. If you have faith, that's when you begin to please God. Because without it, it's impossible. I don't care what you do. All your religious activities will amount to nothing. All your goodies will amount to nothing. All your human perfection will amount to nothing. It is by what? Faith. And through faith are you saved. It is not by works, lest any man should what? Boast. It is all by faith in God. What changed you? How can a person who's born or destined for destruction all of a sudden come to salvation? It's all by faith. Faith works. I said faith works. Come on, say it loud. I said faith works. Listen to this. Everybody on earth needs faith. But not everybody has faith. Everybody on earth needs faith. You need it, and I need it. Faith is a necessity. You need faith. Every husband, listen to me. You need faith. Every wife, listen to me. You need faith. Every child, listen to me. You need faith. Everyone watching, you need faith. Faith is a necessity. It is not an add-on. It is an introduction to real life. Faith works. Everybody on earth needs it. But as I've said, not everybody has faith. And faith is something you cannot ask God to give you. Faith is something you have to develop. God, give me faith. No. He's faithful. If you come to him, you have to make a choice to operate in faith. Watch this. Luke chapter 17. Let's see verse 5 and 6. Luke 17, 5 and 6. Listen to this conversation. And the apostles said to Jesus, what did they say? Say it again. That means they had faith. And the faith they had wasn't to them in the measure to believe or act as they should. So they were saying, increase our faith. They didn't say, Lord, give us faith. What did they say? When you're asking somebody for increase, it means you have something. But what you have is not adequate or enough. That is why you're asking for what? Increase. Some people have faith and others don't. And those who don't have faith, they do so by choice. Because whatever you have, you can throw it away. Whatever you have, you can abandon. But everybody has faith to start with. So they said, increase our faith. And listen to what Jesus said to them. If you have what? Faith. What did Jesus say? Good. What did he say? One more time. What? Look up. What did he say? The word if means probability. You may have it or you may not have it. If you have it, then this is a measure you have to start with. But if you don't have it, it means what you had, you abandoned. If you have faith, they say increase our faith. Oh, okay, you want faith to be increased? But if you have faith, then there's no need for me to increase your faith. If you had faith, then this is what your faith can do. Your faith can increase in itself if you put your faith to work. So you can have many people, they believe in God, but they struggle to trust God with their personal health. They struggle to trust God with their finances. They struggle to trust God with their families. They struggle to trust God with their future. And they walk like zombies, or they walk as those who have no hope. Why? Because for them, if they don't see it, they don't believe it. And I'll come back and show you what happens and how people operate when they don't have faith. So they said, increase our faith. And he replied, if you have faith, you don't need big, you don't need much, just as small as a mustard seed. It is the smallest seed, but what it produces is gigantic. It does amazing work. Amazing work. It's as dynamite, as strong, as potent, and as real. If you have faith as a mustard seed, this faith can move a mulberry tree. In other words, your faith as small as a seed can move things out of the way. Your faith can literally hold the enemy at bay and obstruct or undermine the devil's plan against your life. Your faith can literally stop the forces of evil, can literally transform what has never been done before. And if you have faith, you have to understand that the things you come into are things that others have never believed or heard could happen. Faith does things that doesn't make sense and cannot be explained. And I want to say to you today, faith works. Who says it doesn't? Come on, if you put your hand together, do a better job unto the Lord. Faith works. So if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you will just speak and your faith will go to work. When you have faith and you speak, faith will work. But if you don't have faith and you pray, nothing happens. If you have faith and you speak, things happen. But if you don't have faith and you pray, nothing happens. Therefore, your faith should precede your prayer. If you don't have faith, then what you are making is just gibberish and noise. Because if you have faith, prayer becomes conversation with God or circumstance. And God will hear you, and circumstance will also obey your command. But if you don't have faith, you are not pleasing God. And the Bible says, when a man's way pleases God, he makes his enemies to be at peace. So if you have faith and you please in God, what will he not give you? If you have children, the one who pleases you, the one who does your bid, the one who submits your instructions, what do you keep away from them? If you are walking in faith, what will God hold back from you? If you have faith, why wouldn't you experience miracles, signs, and wonders, and great testimonies? But when you are not walking in faith, you depend on yourself, which I'll come to very shortly. I'll tell you something. If you have faith, little, and you say to mulberry tree, and you say that be pulled up by the roots and be planted in the sea, it will obey you. Faith works for those who have it and have their belief firm in God. Let me say it again. Faith works for those who have it and have their belief firm in God. Let me tell you a story of a man that we all know, one amongst us. He comes to Life International, Sam Ume. 10 years of his experience. And watch what faith has done. Faith is able to make things happen in ways that you cannot explain. That is why I'll say to you, if you have faith, and if I have faith, and if we have in faith, anything we touch, it shall be done by our Father in heaven. The Bible says that if you have faith, anything you pray for, you will not doubt it will happen. If you have faith, the gates of hell shall recognize your voice when you are appearing. If you have faith, the strength of the enemy shall be weak at your presence. When you have faith, the very wind of adversity, when it gets close and knows that you are around, they'll reverse their direction. If you have faith, what is considered death and destruction shall bow to that which you believe. Faith is the substance of the things that we hope for. The evidence is that I have not seen it, but I have confidence in God. This is what Sam Ume did. He's from Nigeria. And watch his testimony. Brief one. Watch this.
Hello, family. My name is Samuel Ume from Nigeria. I'm here to testify for the goodness of God in my life. 10 years ago, I have been put in a deportation list. So I was so down and devastated when I heard the news. At that moment, also, I was going through my nursing career program at North Carolina Central University. So the whole thing was like so devastating to me, but in all that, I believe and I know that God I serve will always see me through.
I believe and
So
I know
I keep
that
on
God I
praying.
serve will see me through.
And my daddy, Pastor Emmanuel, also my backbone, my supporter, he always encouraged me in all this whole process while I'm going through all this. While I'm going for my immigration case in Charlotte for the deportation, that after about 3 months of the case in Charlotte, I got the news from my lawyer that the case was dismissed. And now I have to do appeal, which my appeal was sent back from Charlotte down to Raleigh Immigration Office. I have to schedule an appointment for my documentation. So my lawyer, he wanted to abandon the whole case for us to start afresh, but I still believe that God gonna do something special.
I still believe
So
God is going to
now
do something
say,
special.
Okay, finally, he agreed, and I do my appeal. After a few months, they granted me to come for an interview. So on my interview date, I came. I have some of my friends that agreed to witness for me on that day. So when I came with them. To my surprise, that day my file got missing. I was like, what in the world is going on? The whole thing was postponed, and they rescheduled again for me after a few months. So I came back on that day, on the second attempt, and those my witnesses could not make it. None of them was there. So I was there just by myself. I just keep believing God. I keep confessing that God, even though I know I'm the one there, but I know I have the host of angels with me. They told me point blank that I don't have enough evidence to support my case. I don't have any more to present. I told them that is all I have is what I gave them. They said, anyway, we have to go and look into it and we'll get back to you. So I have to leave. So after a few months, 2 months, 3 months, I didn't hear no reply. So I went to my lawyer. My lawyer was also worried. He told me that this kind of case takes like a month or 2 to 3 weeks or maximum a month to get a reply. But it's almost 2-3 months I have not got no reply. So he said that maybe my case is a special case, which I believe it was. So I waited, I keep waiting, but he told me one thing, that he want me to, all I need to do is to go and tell people about Christ. Go and
preach.
evangelize.
Forget the problem and go
As long
serve
as
God.
I go and do what he asked me to do, I should leave the rest for him. So this keep going on while I was waiting for that response from the immigration office. So it lasted for almost 8 to 9 months. Finally, my lawyer called me and said, we had a good news for you. Immigration office called and said that my document have been approved. So after 2 weeks, I was able to receive the original, my green card. Then, to my greatest surprise, I was given 20 years of green card, which have never happened in the history of green card
Never
in
happened.
America. So all
Never
the years
happened.
I have lost. The 10 years I wasted fighting for this, God gave me the whole 10 years. I add another 10 on top of it. God of double. Prayer works. Who tell me prayer doesn't work? You lie, because I'm a living witness.
Give the Lord a hand, everybody. I said, give the Lord a hand. Give the Lord a hand. Keep standing. Everybody stand. Let me make this statement as I turn it over. He lost his file for 10 years. He's been struggling. They tell him to go. Witnesses were not there. So the real situation with what is happening with immigration issues today is deportation, which they planned 10 years ago should be what should happen. Guess what God did? The lawyer said, you know what? Go and do the work of God and leave this one alone. I'm going to say to you, if you are a person that walks in faith, you'll be doing the work of God instead of doing your own work. Do the work of God. I am speaking to somebody prophetically. Your problem is not the devil. Your problem is that you abandon your faith. If you have faith, you have to tell people about your faith. If nobody is hearing about your faith and the God you serve, you cannot get God to increase your blessings. But if you begin to share your faith and tell people who God is, God will do it. This young man, Sam, he joins the outreach and he goes out and preach with the outreach team whilst he had a pending situation, which means his nursing education could be halted. His life here could be halted. People have taken monies from him and nothing has happened. People are taking advantage of him and nothing has happened. But he came to a conclusion. He touched and agreed with a man of God, Pastor Emmanuel. When they agreed and they started praying and believed in God, look at the outcome. Faith works. Give the Lord a hand, somebody. Come on, give the Lord a hand. Faith works. Faith works. Faith works. Faith works. I received a letter from a man who had cancer of the lungs. They gave him 2 months to live. I've not heard from him for 11 years. Out of nowhere, I got a note. And he said, I don't know if you remember me. The last time I spoke to you, I was a Lutheran pastor. And I had cancer. And I asked you to pray for me. He said, through that ordeal, I came to believe in the God I heard you talk about that I did not fully believe. And he said, 11 years later, I just want you to know that I have months to live. Today, I am a living testimony, serving the Lord, preaching the gospel, and making a difference. Faith works. And if you're going to walk with God, walk by faith and not by sight. Your problem is not big. Your doubt is bigger. God is bigger than your problem. Have faith in God. I say have faith in God. Have faith in God. God is bigger than the economy. God is bigger than the hospitals. God is bigger than your career. God is bigger than your problem. All you have to do is have faith. I'll pick it up in the next service. Raise your hand as Pastor Travis comes and walk us through. Raise your hand. Take us through.